I just got back from some time in Colorado. Colorado, geez, somebody told me we're in Colorado. We said, hey, it's kind of like Phoenix. We were in Arizona. And I was in Phoenix, and then I did some time in Sedona. And it took 4 days to be in Sedona with my dear friend, actually Carl's older brother, Oman, who I have not seen for a really long time. We got to hang out together and spend 4 days together just soaking in the energy and the beauty. There's no place like Sedona. It is so beautiful. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous place, just gorgeous. And we got to hang out together. And he's writing a book, and the book that he's writing is called The Circle of Trust. And he handed me this card with The Circle of Trust in it. We're going to have it up on our screen in a few moments here. And basically he's got it on his fridge, he's got it in the bathroom, he's got it in the garage. Just this reminder, this reminder. My talk is dedicated to him today. It's called Circle of Trust. If we can get that on, that would be great. And again, it says, it asks some questions. What would happen if I accept what is? What would happen if I embrace the unknown? What would happen? What would happen if I trust in love? What would happen if I celebrate it all? What would happen? What would happen if you accepted what is? Not go, oh, I accept what is. I don't want to accept this. I don't like this. No. In order to accept the love of God, you've got to accept yourself, because there is no other God. To the degree that you don't accept yourself, you can't accept the love emanating from the divine presence within you. What if you today decided to embrace the unknown? The mystery is all around us. It's going to happen anyway, and you're not going to be able to figure out all the details, so embrace the unknown. What if you trusted in love and celebrate in all of it? Wow! I don't know about you, but at this point in my life, I'm ready to take the last little part of my dash before I'm done and stop living a tentative life. You know what I'm saying? Enough with this holding back, and I'm not so sure, and I'm going to wait till I haven't got time for that anymore. It's time for the divine to wake up within us, yes? That's why we are here. And so Oman and I spent a lot of time together. You can let that go for a few moments. And we talked about two different thought systems that we love. They come through two series. One of them, my favorite, Star Trek. I love all the Star Treks. I get Netflix, I watch all of them. And one of my favorite ones is with Captain Picard. Jean-Luc Picard. I often see him and feel like shaving my head off. Jean-Luc. And I love when he would say those amazing words. Make it so. You know what I'm saying? Make it so. Make it so. I love that. And then the whole Starship Enterprise would do what? They'd make it so. We were talking about how on the spiritual path, that make it so is a very powerful time in our growth. We'll never leave that part of affirming the truth. Make it so. We make so many things so. Why not choose what we'd like to make so? A unique idea, right? Make it so. An affirmation of energy and presence and power. The outside doesn't create the inside creates the outside. I know Edwene really gave you this last week. I love how she does it. Be a person of power. Make it so. Stop living tentatively. What you add to the name of I am that I am, you will become. Love the power. Make it so. That's a part of the path. The other part of the path comes from Princess Bride, another favorite movie of mine. I've seen it 20 times. We used to own it. And this one is where the beautiful, handsome prince and the princess are together. And the prince answers every request that the princess makes. Anything she wants, he just bows and says, as you wish. As you wish. Do you feel that? As you wish. The surrender of as you wish. I surrender as you wish. And my understanding so far is that somewhere between make it so and as you wish lies a tremendous power and potential. Because it isn't one or the other, it's really both. Both. There'll be times when I'm co-creating magnificence in my life. I'm in the stage of making things happen through me. I'm allowing the principle to work through me. And then there are times when I'm in my as you wish stage. And I know with the make it so thing, for many of us, there have been times when we tried to make it so and it didn't happen, and our results were so-so. And you kind of get, well, what happened? I applied the principle, I thought these good thoughts, I worked on my inner self, I do my affirmations, my cards, and things are not working out the way I want them to. Anybody ever have that happen? You know, have that be so? We've all done that. Okay, so there's a flaw in tying your internal happiness to external situations. Because sometimes they will and sometimes they won't. They won't. That's when you have to say, well, I'm willing to say, in the midst of, I want to make this so, not my will, but thine be done, and then bow to, as you wish. It's both. It's both. And as you wish is not a call to be a doormat. Don't hear me even slightly saying that. Nor is make it so a call to constantly demand from the universe more stuff for your ego to finally be happy that even when you get it, it doesn't deliver. It's both. It's a gentle moving in the direction of what you want, using the principle and power to make it so through you, and then as you wish, bowing and allowing it to happen. Allowing it to happen. I remember when I first met Carl Anthony, who's Oman's younger brother, and Carl was traveling then, and Carl played no instrument until he was in his 20s. None! He was traveling with Carl Anthony, and they were doing a concert called One Peaceful World. We were the ministers in Port Angeles, Washington, of all places, and Carl was coming to do backup congas and some vocals with his brother, who was the lead at that point. And I'd met Oman before, but I'd never met Carl, and he had a new girlfriend that he was with. And the first thing that Carl Anthony does, I'd never seen, you imagine how intense Carl is? And then he's 24 years old, he's got hair out to here, and he walks up to me and he goes, "My brother is driving me crazy. I can't stand him, he's nuts. I can't want to be with him again. We're traveling on the world, we're doing this one peaceful world. I don't like his new girlfriend, yada yada." And I said, "Sounds like you need to do a good workout." And at that point I had a set of Olympic weights, and him and I pounded weights. It's the first thing we did for the first 2 hours together. And he ranted and raved about his brother and all the stuff that was going on. Because sometimes in order to accept what is, you've got to be willing to what? Say what it is. Say what it is. And here they were on a One Peaceful World tour. And nobody in our house was even talking to each other. You know, we got to get ready to go be the light of the world. I sent out brochures. Little town of Port Angeles, 16,000 people. I hand-delivered to Squim. I hand-delivered to Port Angeles all these posters. Come see One Peaceful World. And back then in the 80s, there were not a lot of choices of places to go like this. So here we were getting ready for this evening together, and we were not talking to each other. So we got to a particular point where we were standing in my little teeny office in Port Angeles, and 45 people had shown up. It's like 450 people showing up here. That's how many people that represents population-wise. And we needed to get it together quick. So we're standing in a circle, 5 of us, we're holding hands. And we say, well, in order for the peaceful world to happen, it has to begin with me. I have to be willing to be peaceful. I have to be willing sometimes to put my differences aside. Anybody relate to this? And just settle into something greater right now that's supposed to happen through me. And so we're not going to work our differences out now, are we? But can we make this so and allow this energy to move through us so we can be of service to something greater than just our egoic conflict? And we all looked at each other and we agreed that we could do it. We could be one peaceful world right here and right now. And we walked out into the room, and it was one of the best and most amazing concerts I have ever been a part of. And consciousness shifted. Later on, we worked out the details. You know, but when you do it from the place that we're one, you can work out the details without taking them so personally and going so wild with it. We're all on a journey of awakening. I've been sharing with you from the Sermon on the Mount, and one of the more difficult ones that I want to share with you today, which can put a lot of difficulty on our path, is our understanding of this. In it again, and we're in Matthew now. Open up your Bible for those of you who haven't. It would look great for the newcomers. That's great. It says, you, therefore must become perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect. You must become perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect. Well, here comes the guilt, shame, and blame of not being good enough. Who lives up to that? You know, perfect. What do you mean be perfect? And I actually got this from the book you gave me. Jane Fonda's book called Prime Time. Jane Fonda has been dealing with issues of not good enough her whole lifetime. Not good enough. She's taken herself starving, she's had bulimia, she's worked out constantly, and she's always trying to win the love of that perfect father that we all saw, Henry. No matter what she did, she wasn't good enough for him. And so she starved herself emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually, trying to make this man finally love her until she decided at 70 years old, enough! Trying to be perfect on the outside. I'm already perfect on the inside. And the rest of my life is going to be about owning that and embodying that and accepting that love from my Heavenly Father, Mother God, within me. And then she goes, the actual word, perfect, here we go, is a mistranslation. Don't you love it? We've been translating this wrong. You know what the word comes from? Perfect, it comes from the Greek. Am I getting this right? Telos? It means whole, fully formed, fully developed. It's being whole, fully formed, and fully developed. Just as your Father in heaven within you is already whole, fully formed, and developed. Be whole. Be thou made whole. In God's image and likeness, stop accepting your little tiny version of yourself and let me show you your magnificence. You see the difference that one little shift in consciousness makes? The journey is a journey into wholeness. You are already fully developed and loved in God's eyes. There's nothing missing in you. The rest of your life is about embodying what you already are. Not trying to make it happen, but allow it to move through you. To be fully formed, to be whole, to be ready, to be willing to accept what is in your life. To accept what is to accept who you are, to embrace the unknown. It's a mystery. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You may think you do, but you do not know. No one here knows, okay? It is a mystery. It can change in the twinkling of an eye. Trusting in love in the process, right? CJ, trust in the process that love is working through you. You're part of a circle of trust. And then you begin to celebrate in life. So I went to go see Beth Elliott, by the way. She sends her love to all of you. Beth is in Phoenix. And Beth and I were really looking forward to being together in this 5,000 square foot mansion that she's part of her family situation, where she gets to stay and watch the house for them. And it was just going to be me and her, and there was this beautiful pool in the middle and a hot tub. And then at the country club was the state-of-the-art workout facility, my version of heaven on earth. And so yes. And so I pull up, and Beth is waiting there in the driveway for me, and I had to call her 4 times because I'm constantly lost. I didn't have my GPS, Maureen, with me, and had to call poor Beth. And for some reason with Beth, and many of you know her this way, for some reason when I see her, I just start laughing. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, she gets the cosmic joke. She always has. She's 80 years old, and we just started laughing about nothing. It's 108 degrees out. The dry heat from Phoenix is there, and we're just standing in this driveway laughing. She goes, I'm just so glad to be with you. She goes, however, I got to tell you something. The people who own the house, they came back for this weekend. They're here. Trust in love, trust the unknown, accept what is. I don't want to meet new people right now. I just want to be you and me together doing our little thing. Maybe I'll take that invitation up from that other person to stay at their house. And then she made it so. No, you will not. You're staying here with me, and I'm all ready for you, and they want to meet you. So I went through the process in a matter of moments, and I stepped into the doorway of make it so as you wish. And I met these new people, and you know those first few hours of the awkward relationship with a new person, it always takes time to get into a rhythm with each other. And then we did, and we fell madly in love with each other. We didn't want to leave at the end of the 3 days. We were all crying existence, consciousness, and bliss. What would it be like today if you and I decided we were going to walk into each situation and trust that way? That a miracle was waiting on the other side of the door for you. No matter what's going on in your life, you can accept what is. You can embody yourself, not knowing all the details, but you can be present for what needs to happen through you, as you, and celebrate whatever happens, the stuff you like and the stuff you don't like. The things you wish you had more of and the things you know you need to get rid of. It's all part of the dance of life, of the circle of trust that's growing you, into a greater awareness of who you are. That is why every one of us is here now in this room. That's what we're here to do. So Oman and I, we are talking, and as many of us do at this stage in our life. I know there's some of you who are a little further along, but you get to the 60 part, like I said, and you start to realize you're in the closing chapters of the story, right? It's getting towards finishing up business, folks. You know, there it is. You know, you get it. You see it really clearly. And we're talking about the question. He's been doing this work for as long as I have, 30 years in front of thousands of people, singing songs, doing music, you know, just being a presence in the world. And we're saying, do you feel like you are now where you thought you would be at this point in your life right now? Yeah. Do you feel like you've kind of succeeded at what we thought we would do? We both went, no. I thought by now, well, jeez, my gosh, do you have any idea who I used to be? You know, that whole thing that we all do. And we both laugh at that because we know people who have the version of what we thought we would want to be happy who are there, who have no more answer to that question than we do. It's still unknown. It's not about externals. It's about your internal relationship in each moment with yourself. And we both just sat with the finishing lessons that are here, knowing it could be another 20 years, 30, it could be another 20 minutes. Nobody here in this room knows that for sure. You can only make a guess at it, but we don't know it for sure. So that night I went to sleep and we had our last morning together. I was thinking about Oman and myself and Carl and people who do this kind of work, and you and me as well too. And I'm sitting on my favorite throne, the bathroom, and I'm reading. The subject tonight is Love by Hafiz. Venus Just Asked Me, it's called. Perhaps for just 1 minute out of the day, it may be of value to torture yourself with thoughts like, I should be doing a hell of a lot more with my life than I am, because I'm so damn talented. I torture myself with that all the time. I'm so damn talented. The Tibetans say that we have two things sitting on our shoulder. The one over the left shoulder is your imminent death. It's coming. Develop a relationship with the fact that it's impermanent. It's finite here. Always let it be there. Don't kid yourself. It'll be that thing which will help you grow and not waste time. It's sitting right there over your left shoulder. The Tibetans say, develop a relationship with it now. Right here and now. And the other little voice sitting on the shoulder is that one that says, you're not doing good enough, you're not good enough, you're never going to be doing good enough, when are you ever going to get that done? You know those two voices that we both work with all the time? And it goes on to say this, but remember, for just 1 minute out of the day, with all the rest of your time, it would be best to try looking upon yourself more as God does. For He knows your true royal nature. God is never confused and can only see Himself in you. My dear, Venus just leaned down and asked me to tell you a secret, to confess to you. She's just a mirror who has been stealing your light and music for centuries. She knows, as does Hafiz, as does Christ, you are the sole heir to the kingdom. All the practices, all the work we do, all the time we spend on the cushion is about beginning and knowing and loving ourselves as God loves us right now and beginning to accept that in ourselves. Let's go to the lesson summation and I'll continue yelling and screaming for a few more moments and we'll be done. So what would happen if you understood what this is about? You see, because in the center of the circle, right about where the twig is God is. God is. That's what's there. God is. One presence, one power. God is. And right outside the next ring of the circle is I am. Yes, you are. God is I am. That's what you are. So if God is all that is, and I am an expression of it, can I accept what is by allowing it to be present in my life and stop running from those things that are chasing me? You see, what happens is if we get caught up in God is I am, lost in a far country, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm by myself, nothing ever works out, we get far away from the power circle that we stand in the center of. These teachings allow us to stay anchored in our magnificence. God is I am. Say that with me. God is I am. And I'm willing to accept what is in my life. To accept God, you have to accept what is in your life. And when you love yourself, the love that you already are moves through you. I am willing, God is I am, to embrace the unknown. You might as well, it's going to happen anyway. Make the mystery your friend. Yeah, well, look, of course, there it is. I couldn't figure this out in a million years. You don't know, but God does. God is, I am, willing to trust and love. Are you willing to trust and love? Are you? And are you willing then to celebrate it all, no matter what way in which it shows up? If you're saying yes to this, you are ready for our magnificent journey into a circle of trust that will feed in and out of you and will transform not only your world, but the world of all the people who come into the circle of your trusting consciousness in the one presence and the one power that we have come here to awaken to. Say amen. Amen. Say it better than that. So remember, be ye therefore whole, fully formed, fully developed, and perfect, even as your heavenly Father is fully formed, whole, and perfect. Begin to see yourself, accept yourself, embrace yourself as God sees you. My wish for you is that you make it so in your life. And as you make it so for you, you help others make it so for themselves. And my friends, that's when the circle of trust is completed in you. And that's why we're here. Practice well. Practice deeply, not just for yourself, but for the benefit of all beings everywhere. Namaste.